Okay, so good evening, everyone. I am so happy to see many of you, and I hope to see many more trickling in as we go through today's session. It is April. Can y'all believe it? 2025 kind of just started, but we're already through the first quarter already. It's time is really, really moving along and moving really fast. So we got to just keep up, right? We have to keep up. So hey to everyone. And this session is being recorded for those that miss it, or if you want to do like a replay or something, you can always check it out on Practice Better. It will be plugged into the library. All right, so today we are focusing on supplements. And I chose this subject because it can be a little overwhelming and somewhat confusing, understanding what supplements to take, which are important. There's so many of them, and some of you may even feel like you're swallowing pills all the time. So let's find out why we need supplements and also a couple of other very important and very critical details about supplements. So we're going to focus our conversation around one particular supplement, but we're also going to watch a video. It's a Dr. Berg video where he breaks down several important supplements that you may already be taking, or maybe some that you have thought about or maybe considering. So first, it's important to understand that our modern diets may not always provide all the nutrients that our body needs. You have industrial farming practices, soil depletion, and environmental factors that have all contributed to a decline in nutrient density food. So the term supplement is key here. These products are meant to do just that. They're meant to supplement or complement our diets and not replace a healthy, balanced meal plan. So think of it as like your insurance policy. You know, they help ensure that you're getting essential nutrients when your diet falls short, which a lot of times our diet kind of falls short. So vitamins and minerals, they play a very critical role in numerous functions within your body. We're talking from energy production to your immune function and your overall health maintenance. For example, vitamin D. It's critical for calcium absorption and bone health, while the B vitamins support energy and metabolism and brain function. So every stage in our life, every health condition, dietary restrictions or whatever may increase the need for these specific nutrients. So in this case, you want to make sure that your supplements provide targeted support. So remember, it's vital, to choose high quality supplements. And I say this all the time. You hear me say that all the time. It's very important to make sure that you're getting high quality supplements. And sometimes you have to consult with a nutritionist, a dietitian, a health care provider to determine the right types and amounts for you. And with a well-rounded approach that combines the nutrient-dense foods that you need, certainly, the supplements and the food will help you to optimize your health and your well-being. So, why is it important to have these high-quality supplements? And why do we need supplements from third-party verified companies? Now, some of you may say third-party verified companies. Let me get just the definition. We pretty much know what it is, right? Let me get the definition. What is a third-party verified company? What does that involve? All right, so my little search here says, ain't saying much. Internet's kind of slow. I hope you all can hear me well and that I'm not coming across skippy or freezing or anything like that. But a third-party verified company is an organization that's had its products independently tested and confirmed by an unbiased external entity. Okay. So in this external entity, somebody's team, like the IRS coming in to check your books, basically. That's what it is. Okay. So they are checking quality, safety. They're making sure that what you say on the bottle is actually in the bottle and that you're not including any harmful contaminants. Okay. So that's what a third party does. So when it comes to supplements, quality matters, ladies. Oh my goodness. I can't even tell you how much quality matters. Um, so when you think about that third party, first you want to ensure you're getting the nutrients you're paying for, right? So some of these supplements are kind of costly. So I'd be mad if I was getting just a tiny little bit of vitamin D and then the rest of it is powdered cellulose. I'm paying for vitamin D. I want vitamin D, right? So when you choose high quality supplements, you want to make sure that the ingredients in there are the appropriate quantities so you can trust the dosage on the label and that it matches what's actually inside the bottle. You know, manufacturing processes can impact the effectiveness of a supplement. And reputable companies use methods that preserve the integrity or the sensitive nutrients to ensure that your body can absorb and properly utilize the vitamins. So when you think about a third party verification, these independent organizations, they put these supplements through rigorous tests. They're checking purity, potency, ingredient accuracy, and their stamp of approval signifies that the supplement meets the highest standards of quality and transparency. So this helps you avoid harmful contaminants. It helps you avoid getting ingredients that aren't even listed on the bottle. Okay. And it also avoids misleading labels. So when you invest in high quality supplements from companies that use third party verification is going to safeguard you. Yeah, you might pay a little bit more, but at least you're getting exactly what you are paying for. And it should be a priority of yours. You deserve nothing but the best, right? So that's why I deal with Fullscripts because I know that they are third party verified. So they have their supplement IRS company coming in to verify and check them. And most of the time, they don't even know when these companies are coming. They do spot checks. So it's not like we can clean up before mama comes home. Nope, we just going to pop up and we're going to pull things. You're not even going to know what we're pulling. We want to see what you're doing. What are you giving consumers? That's the type of supplements that you all get when you purchase from Fullscript. Okay. So any questions about that so far as Fullscript, the company, why I deal with them? I've had clients say to me, well, you know, I can get the same thing off Amazon. Yeah, you can, but it ain't third party verified, you know? So the company that you're getting it from Amazon, it may even be the same bottle, same brand, but you don't know where it was manufactured. You don't know if it went through that same high quality standard. So you really don't know what you're getting. So you want to deal with a company that from the very beginning up until the time that supplement is put in the bottle, that it has that stamp of approval. Okay. CVS and Walgreens and all these other places, they don't have high quality supplements that are verified by that third party. Um, I want to know if y'all have any questions thus far before I move on to my favorite vitamin. Y'all good? Okay. All right. So thus far, we've just covered, you know, why it's important to deal with a company that has their supplements third party verified. And we've also talked about why you need supplements, period. Okay. Now let's talk about one of my favorites. We're going to dig into one of my favorites, one that I feel is probably the most vital, and that's vitamin D. All of my clients should be on vitamin D. And if you are not, we need to have a conversation to find out why you're not on vitamin D. Okay. Vitamin D is essential. They call it the sunshine vitamin because, yes, you can get vitamin D from the sun, but It's not that simple, y'all, because we wear clothes outside. So vitamin D from the sun is not going to be absorbed through your clothes. Trust me. Okay. Okay. So maybe bikini season, which is a short season. Okay. Maybe you can get it then. And first of all, some of us don't wear bikinis. Okay. Just putting that out there. So what if you're always covered? Maybe you don't like the heat and you're not outside, you're not getting that vitamin D. And let's just say you are outside all the time, you're still wearing clothes, so you're really not absorbing and getting the full benefits of vitamin D. So again, yeah, you can get it from the sun, but trust me when I tell you, you're not getting what you need, especially to deal with the critical health issues that we have to deal with today. Okay. So why is vitamin D so critical? Well, it helps with your bone health. Vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium, which is vital for strong bones and strong teeth. And without enough vitamin D, our bodies just cannot effectively use calcium. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. Okay, because it's deep with this calcium thing. But if your body can't utilize calcium properly, it leads to potential conditions like osteoporosis and rickets. Another thing, immune system function. So vitamin D plays a role in regulating your immune system, and it also enhances your body's ability to fight infections. So you reduce your risk of illnesses like the cold, certain colds, the common cold, the flu, or whatever, if your vitamin D is on point. And also your mental health. Yes. Vitamin D helps with that too. So there are some research studies that suggest the vitamin D may help boost your mood. Okay, it has mood boosting effects, potentially helping to combat conditions like seasonal affective disorder and depression. So some people actually get depressed in different seasons. Um, I heard that in Seattle, Washington, they have a very high suicide rate because it rains a lot there. I found that very interesting. So it's kind of like this seasonal thing where it's always cloudy and it just rains a lot and it's depressing for people. So vitamin D is good for your mental health. Keep that in mind. And of course, muscle strength. Vitamin D contributes to building the muscles, and it's essential for active individuals and athletes. So our bodies can produce vitamin D, of course, like I said, when we get the sun exposure that we need. But there are so many factors that go into that geography, the season or the time of year, your lifestyle may also limit that natural production of vitamin D. And so you want to make sure that you keep this in mind because I don't want you to think, oh, I'm getting just enough from the sun. I have enough vitamin D from the sun or from my food. Yeah, you might be getting it in vitamin D rich foods like fatty fish, eggs, the yolk of the egg, actually. Um, Fortified dairy products can also provide adequate levels. But again, when we're dealing with some of the health issues that some of us are dealing with, we need a little bit more. Okay. It's also vital to take vitamin D along with K2. So this rolls me into the calcium regulation. Okay. So both vitamins D and K2 are involved in calcium metabolism. So while vitamin D produces calcium absorption, vitamin K2 helps navigate. It helps direct the calcium into the bones. So it's the little transporter. It takes it where it needs to go. So without K2, this excess calcium is going to end up in your soft tissues, like your arteries, potentially leading to cardiovascular issues. And sometimes when you may get like an x-ray or something, they say, oh, we see calcifications. We see calcifications. Where do you think this calcium coming from? It's calcium that has nowhere to go. It needs to be directed. You need that K2 to help move and direct this calcium into the where it needs to go. So taking calcium supplements without considering the factors like vitamin D, vitamin K2, and magnesium can lead to a lot of problems. Okay. Calcium without sufficient vitamin D and K2, calcium is not going to be absorbed by your bones like it should be. And again, this is going to allow it to be deposited in other places in your body. It can decrease your bone strength. So you think about osteoporosis. Calcium alone might not be enough to maintain your bone strength. It needs the vitamin D and the K2 for proper utilization, and magnesium imbalance. So calcium and magnesium have a delicate, very delicate balance in the body. So excessive calcium intake without adequate magnesium can lead to magnesium deficiency, causing those muscle spasms and irregular heartbeats and other issues. And also kidney stones. So there are some studies that suggest that high calcium intake without proper vitamin D levels may increase the risk of developing kidney stones. Did y'all know that? So to avoid some of these issues that I just talked about, I do not recommend my clients take calcium. Y'all never hear me say, hey, here's this calcium supplement. Nope, 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 nope. I never recommend that. However, if you choose to take it, that's something that you choose to do. However, I beg you to please take it with vitamin D and K2 and magnesium to make sure the calcium is utilized properly and that you create the proper balance within your body. So you can get your calcium through so many other things. And calcium can come through your milk, your cheese. You get it in spinach and a bunch of other things. So again, I don't recommend that you take calcium. If you do, make sure you have the vitamin D, K2, and magnesium along with. Now, my favorite YouTube doctor, Dr. Berg, is going to break this down way better than I ever could. He has a video here that I want you all to watch. And please, for goodness sake, take notes. And please know that there are tons of vitamins and supplements out there. You don't need to be taking everything. You have to figure out what your body needs. In Dr. Berg's video, um, there is a download for his top 25 supplements. This is what the document looks like. He provides a link in this video. And what I will do is make sure that you all, excuse me, get this link. I'll put it in the group chat so that you all can, get this list here. It's very nicely illustrated and it breaks down his top 25, some of which I had never heard of before. So, like I said, there are so many, so many supplements and vitamins out there. You don't need everything. You just got to figure out what you need, what's essential to you, what's essential to the conditions that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with hyperthyroidism, or maybe you're going through menopause, or maybe diabetes, or whatever the issue is, figure out what is good for you and then go from there. High stress. Everybody, we're all dealing with a little stress. So I highly recommend a little ashwagandha or passion flower for everybody, just to help your body to deal with stress naturally. Okay, so let's get ready to watch this video to see what the fine doctor has to say. I will get ready to share my screen in just a second here. Denise, I can see your face, even though I have my thing minimized. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear. Let me know if you can hear the video. Perfect.
No, we can't hear it.
Can't hear it?
No, ma'am, we
So
can't hear it.
you can see it,
We
but you
we can
can't
see
hear
it,
it?
but I can't hear it.
Very interesting. Hold on one second.
So, Coach, when you share your screen, are you sharing the audio as
Audio,
well?
probably not. Let me go check. That was
Okay.
the first thing I thought of. Nope, I'm not. That box was not checked. All right, so let's start this over again. All right, Carol, I need thumbs up for sound and Denise, not Carol. Did I say Carol? Carol or Denise? No, I can see Denise, though. I can't see you, Carol. Give me thumbs up for sound, 2 thumbs up for sound and picture, okay?
Okay.
Today I want to share the best supplements for very specific health
All right.
conditions. And I think everyone should really know this information because sooner or later you might end up with one of these problems, and it'd be nice to know a remedy that could help you, especially if you're not into taking drugs. Now, when people research supplements, they have this idea that evidence-based research is the best way to find out if a supplement worked. This is very misleading because when you look at evidence-based research, you're going to find a lot of mixed reviews when we get into supplements, simply because certain organizations, and I'm not going to mention their name, will purposely do research to invalidate the results of natural remedies that compete with commercial remedies that make a lot of money. Who's going to fund a natural remedy? It's very, very expensive to do research. And so you're not going to see a lot of credible research in the area of nutrition. We have this omitted research that people will say, well, there's no research to say that it works. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means that no one wanted to pay for the research to validate if it worked. So what I'm going to share with you is based on a lot of personal experience working with a lot of people, tens, hundreds of thousands of people over years, and just observing what works the majority of the time and what doesn't work, as well as a lot of deep diving into the mechanics of how nutrition solves a problem. This video is not going to be a comprehensive study on every single health condition, but I'm going to talk about the top health conditions and how supplements or a nutrient or a remedy could help that problem. Starting with probably the most important one, which is vitamin D. One thing you need to know about vitamin D is that we have a lot of resistance against absorbing vitamin D for all sorts of reasons, from the lack of sun because we're not outside as much, depending on the season, where you live in relationship to the equator, how old you are, how much you weigh, if you have insulin resistance or diabetes. You can override all these problems by just taking more vitamin D3. You would need to have at least 10,000 IUs to up to 50,000 IUs every day, and even more than that depending on certain circumstances. And I've done a lot of videos on this topic. One of the most important conditions with an S that vitamin D can help you with is autoimmune diseases, okay? The common theme of an autoimmune condition is inflammation. So vitamin D in the right dosage can be a very potent anti-inflammatory. Vitamin D regulates the immune system. In other words, if you have a hyperimmune system, vitamin D can tone it down. And then we have other conditions where we're lacking immune support, and that would definitely be something like cancer, AIDS. Vitamin D is essential for those conditions. Vitamin D also works great for depression. Another condition that you might not realize that vitamin D is good for is glaucoma. In fact, a lot of problems with the eye can be greatly improved with high doses of vitamin D3. And then we have the classic low back pain or anything related to your pelvis, like hip pain, deep bone pain, vitamin D3, because vitamin D3 can help benign tumors as well as cancer. Another really great benefit of D3 is anything related to hair loss, dermatitis. A dermatologist would give one remedy, vitamin D3 in high amounts. They would get amazing results with almost every different type of skin inflammatory condition. And one key point about vitamin D, anytime you take vitamin D3, you also need to take the cofactors, magnesium and zinc and vitamin K2. All right, the next supplement I'm going to recommend is magnesium glycinate. I don't recommend other forms of magnesium too much, especially because the absorption is not that great. So what is magnesium good for? Well, allowing vitamin D to work. They both work together. You could actually take vitamin D and be severely magnesium deficient and not see any of the results from vitamin D. The same thing goes with magnesium. If you're taking magnesium without vitamin D3, magnesium will only work to a certain degree. And anytime you take either magnesium by itself or vitamin D by itself and then develop side effects, it's usually because you're deficient in the other cofactor. There's a lot of body conditions that occur in the early morning because of a deficiency of magnesium, because magnesium kind of goes on this wave, and you're going to hit the lowest point in the early morning, maybe about between 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. What kind of problems occur more in the morning? A lot of problems. cramps in the legs, cramps in the foot, increased risk of heart attacks. Clotting happens more in the morning. Strokes happen in the morning. Even the dawn phenomena, which is the higher blood sugars occur in the early morning. All of that means you need magnesium. Migraine headaches, magnesium. But you need higher amounts. If you're taking like 400 milligrams, you'll see the results. But with migraines, sometimes you need to take 800 to 1,000 or even more milligrams of magnesium to create the effect with migraines, depending on how bad they are. Also, magnesium lowers cortisol and adrenaline. That's why it's good for sleep. Magnesium also helps thin the blood and helps prevent clotting. Magnesium is good for blood pressure, good for anti-clotting effects, good to prevent cramping of muscle, but magnesium is really good as an electrolyte to prevent arrhythmias, as an atrial fibrillation. So that's another really important heart effect. Magnesium is also at the heart of making energy. So anything related to chronic fatigue, a loss of energy in the mitochondria, magnesium is the answer. Especially if you're exercising and you just don't have that endurance, you need magnesium.
Y'all know YouTube like commercials, right?
The way that I know that I have enough magnesium is all of the muscles in my body are calm and not tight. This last point is magnesium to prevent kidney stones. This is a huge reason why people have kidney stones, is they're magnesium deficient. Next is betaine hydrochloride. That should be taken anytime you have heartburn or indigestion. Betaine hydrochloride gives the stomach more acidification, okay, more acid. Most of this is a lack of acid, and also the valve just doesn't close because there's a lack of acid. What betaine hydrochloride does is help you keep that top valve closed, giving you more acid so you can digest better. Sometimes you have to take 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 before a meal to get it to work because it's not like highly concentrated. Next remedy is zinc carnosine. Hands down, the best remedy for an ulcer in your stomach, and it helps calm down gastritis. Now, next remedy is selenium. Okay, selenium, believe it or not, is really good if you have AIDS. Selenium seems to fix certain T cells that will then help counter this AIDS situation, because AIDS is really an acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So basically, you don't have an immune system anymore. You lost the quarterback of the immune system. So selenium is very, very important in that. You can get a good amount of selenium just from one Brazil nut a day. Selenium is also good to lower getting this autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's. If you have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid problem, you need selenium. So when you think selenium, think Hashimoto's and AIDS. Next remedy is vitamin B1. Here's another interesting thing. You need magnesium as a cofactor to allow B1 to work. So if you take B1 and it doesn't work, it could mean that you just need magnesium. B1 is an amazing remedy for nervous tension, worry, stress, anxiety, restless leg syndrome. Restless leg syndrome, you take magnesium and B1 and you're almost guaranteed to get rid of that condition. Then we also have another type of B1 that's made in a fat-soluble form called benfotiamine. Benfotiamine is really good for anything with nerves in the peripheral part of the body, in the bottom of the feet, the toes, and the hands. You take 4 pills through the day. Just keep it in your body, and that condition will improve. Another supplement is calcium lactate for chronic coughing, but I normally do not recommend any calcium supplements other than if it's just a small amount, but you don't want large amounts of calcium over 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 milligrams because it's going to put you at risk for heart problems. And I recommend that you get your calcium from your food, like cheese, vegetables, sardines with the bones in it, but not as a supplement. Same thing with iron. I don't recommend you taking an iron supplement. I'd rather you get it from food, red meat, liver, or take liver pills. That's good for low blood pressure, but it's also good for energy. I also recommend potassium for people that are salt sensitive. They're told to lower their salt. I recommend you just increase your potassium. But the thing about potassium is that we need so much of it. We need 4,700 milligrams. I don't know of anyone getting that much. The next supplements, coenzyme Q10. If anyone's on a statin, they better be on coenzyme Q10 because a statin, which blocks cholesterol, will deplete you of coenzyme Q10. What about vitamin E? There's two different forms of vitamin E. I recommend the tocotrienols one because it works 50 times stronger. And tocotrienols are really good to prevent fibrosis. It's also good for angina, chest pain. It's good to support the inner layer of the arteries to prevent plaquing. It's also good for infertility. Next supplement is one of my favorites. It's called TUDCA. The TUDCA is a very specialized type of bile salt. A lot of people have a problem with thickened bile, and it creates pressure and causes pain that radiates to the right shoulder, up to the neck. TUDCA will just like make that go away. TUDCA is also good for neurological problems in your brain. It does a lot, but I have separate videos on that. Let's talk about iodine. Great for fibrocystic breast. That's an excess amount of estrogen that's causing those cysts, and iodine is a natural inhibitor or regulator of excess estrogen. So iodine is great for that. Vitamin C is good for collagen, especially for bleeding gums. You're brushing your teeth and it's like turns pink because you're bleeding easily because your gums are inflamed. You need vitamin C. Probiotics. If someone's on a lot of diet soda, they're going to really mess up their gut and they need to get off the artificial sweeteners. Biotin, good for hair, nails, and skin, especially to make your hair and nails grow. Manganese, good for Tourette's and tics. NAC is a wonderful supplement if you've accidentally taken too much Tylenol. It's really good for anything poisonous to the liver. So snake bites, poisonous mushrooms, think NAC and milk thistle. Mastic gum is good for gastritis. If you've tried a lot of different supplements for your sleep and it hasn't worked, I recommend melatonin for some people. Tends to help a lot of people, and it does a lot of other things, which I'll have to do a video on, but I recommend that for severe sleep problems that you've tried everything and nothing's worked. Niacin, really good for anything related to cholesterol, and I recommend taking higher amounts of it, 500 milligrams, 1,000, work up to it. You will have a flush response, and that's normal, but you want the one with the flush. Clove oil, great for any like pain in your teeth or gums. Now, of course, I can go on and on and on and on, but this is a fairly long video. I think you've learned the most important effects of certain supplements. If you want all this in a quick download, okay, I put the link down below. Check it out. Go ahead and download it and use it when you need it.
All right, so let me stop that video right quick. Lots of information, right? OMG. But I love the way Dr. Berg lays it out. First of all, like I said, there are so many supplements out there. You look at the supplement walls in Walmart and all these different stores, and it's like, wow, it's a lot. But you don't need all of that. Okay. Again, just decide what's best for you, what conditions you're dealing with, and then go from there. But vitamin D, everybody should be on vitamin D. And the cofactors for vitamin D, the magnesium, the zinc, all that good stuff, okay? I want to share a personal story with you all. I have told this story to Denise. I think I shared it with you, Denise, but nobody else knows about this yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to share it with you all. And I am very private when it comes down to my personal health. So consider you all, you all are part of my family. And also my learning helps me to teach others. When I learn something, I love to share it. And that's the reason why I'm in this business today. So even though I'm private with my personal struggles and battles, I love to share when I know it will help someone else. So speaking of supplements, so I've been struggling and battling with fibroids for many, many years. And it got to the point for me where I was anemic and it was just getting unbearable. My gynecologist did an ultrasound. She saw like 4 or 5 of them, and she immediately suggested a hysterectomy. And I told her that I'd had so many friends that had had hysterectomies, and I just did not want to go that route. I'm 49. I know that having a hysterectomy, even a partial, could potentially push me into early menopause. I didn't want that. Okay. So I told her that I wanted 4 to 5 months to work on this myself. I had already been doing research. I have a book right here. In this book right here, I have been just doing extensive research. So the day that I met with her, I had already researched several things. Fibroids, what are they? What is the science saying? Who's at a higher risk? All that good stuff. And I did some research on vitamin D and its effects with fibroids. And I told her what I was going to do. And she was a little apprehensive, but supportive. She said she would support me because, hey, she was a partner in my health and she didn't want to dictate what I should be doing. And I appreciated that. I recommend all of us have doctors like that. So what I decided to do was up my dose of vitamin D from 10,000, which is the regular maintenance dose that I take and that I recommend for all of my clients. I told her I was going to go from that regular maintenance dose of 10,000 to 30 to 50,000. And she totally was like, oh my goodness, that's just way too much. That's going to be toxic for you if you take that much vitamin D every day. And I told her based on the research studies that I've found in PubMed and other places, I felt comfortable that it would not be toxic for me. I felt it would work for me. So she said, well, I would never suggest somebody take 50,000 every single day, but she said that she gives vitamin D in high doses, 50,000, but only one dose. And I told her that's not enough. It's not enough to do what I want it to do. And what I wanted to do is get rid of these fibroids or at least help me with my symptoms. I didn't know what it was going to do, honestly. So what I did was I got 30 to 40 because supplements are expensive, y'all. Okay. And I'm popping these pills and I'm like running through these bottles. I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna do between 30 and 40,000 IUs of vitamin D. And then instead of taking iron, which she wanted to prescribe iron pills, I told her, didn't want synthetic iron. I want a natural heme source of iron, which I know heme iron is more bioavailable. Okay, that's going into a different subject, but iron pills, nope, don't want to take them. They cause too much damage in the inside. They cause constipation, and I didn't want to deal with any of that. So I would take beef liver pills. Fullscript has grass-fed beef liver. I ordered that. I got my vitamin D, and for 5 months, that's what I did. I already cleaned up my diet, did that years ago. So I've been doing 30 to 40,000 of IUs of vitamin D, and I've been taking grass-fed beef liver. Just had my ultrasound at the beginning of this month to follow up with this doctor. And while I'm doing the ultrasound, the technician said, I don't see no fibroids. She was like, wait a minute, I think I see one, but she was like, you just have one. I'm like, what? I'm like freaking out on the table, like, what? So when I got in to see the doctor busted in the door. She said, girl, what have you been doing? And I told her, I said, well, I've been doing what I told you I was going to do. I've been taking a therapeutic dose of vitamin D and beef liver pills. She said, well, I need to check your blood and see where your blood count was. My blood count wasn't bad. They still called being a 10 anemic, but I guess I felt it because I was tired all the time. But I saw the changes in how I felt. So I knew this doctor's visit was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be that good because I felt more energy. I woke up in the morning not so tired. And my cycles had changed. They weren't heavy anymore at all. Dramatic change. And I told her all of that. And she went over the ultrasound with me. She said, I cannot believe this, but I have your before and I have your after. So I have no choice but to believe it. And she said, I need to know everything that you did so I can tell my other patients. And then she wanted to know where I got the beef liver pills and everything from. And I told her, I said, well, doc, you do know I'm a nutritionist, right? She's like, no, I didn't know. we need to talk. So she got all of my information and she plans on sending some of her clients my way so I can help some of her patients. But that's my story, y'all. So I know vitamin D is a powerful tool in your arsenal, but you may not be taking enough if you're not seeing the benefits. If you're dealing with an autoimmune issue or some type of issue, you might need to up your dose. But I'm going to leave that to you. Just know that 10,000 IUs, which is the one pill that you're taking, is the maintenance. That's a maintenance dose. Okay. Maintenance for me was not enough. I needed so much more. And my body responded. I feel amazing. I don't have to have a hysterectomy. I get to keep my uterus and everything attached to it. And I'm so happy about that. I'm like, I left that place. I left the doctor's office on cloud nine. And the first person I called was the first person all of us want to call when we have good news, and that's mama. You know what I'm saying? If your mom is still with you, it's a blessing for sure. I called my mom and I was just so elated because as a woman, she understood what I was going through. So just wanted to share all of that with you that supplements can be a game changer if you use it right, if you're taking the right amounts, and if you stay on top of it, um, it can really help to support your wellness. Okay. So that's my experience. That's what I wanted to share with you all. And also, I want to tell you all that my schedule for the month of May, and this is before I open up the floor for any questions that you all may have or comments. For the month of May, I am available May 1st through the 10th. Okay. After the 10th, y'all are not going to see me or hear from me until the 27th. I got to go off the charts for a while. I got some business I need to handle. So for about 2 weeks, I will be away. Prior to that 2 weeks, please, if you need a one-on-one session or whatever, please do. Now, I will be checking my phone because I can't help myself. Okay. So even though I'm handling personal business, I still got to see what's going on with y'all. But just know I may not chime in all the time. If you send me a question or send me something that I need to do research or whatever on, it's going to have to wait until I return. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you all know that my calendar and everything will be blocked. But just make sure you know that Coach Tay is going to be away till the 27th of May. Okay. All right. I want to hear from you all. Want to know what questions or comments you may have. And that's all I had as far as the session today. I hope you all enjoyed and learned something for sure about supplements and how they can really support your wellness. You can unmute yourselves and go therefore. Come on, people. Somebody got, okay, Carol, what you got?
So you're saying that
Mhm.
vitamin D is not toxic to your body if you take because I was taking 50,000 IUs and I felt fantabulous. I mean, I didn't get it from Full Script because I didn't know that Full Script had the 50,000.
Yeah, well,
So yes, I was
it comes
one of those.
it comes in 10,000 IU pills, but you just take like 4 or 5 pills or whatever
4 or
to
5.
equal the
Well, I was
50.
buying the yes, I'm going to say it, Scamazon version of the. And the reason I say Scamazon because they have everything, and nobody should have everything. But
That's true. That's true.
yeah. So I was going to Scamazon, which is Amazon, and I was getting
Uh-huh.
the 50,000 I used, and I was taking it. I was doing fine. So the doctor finally said, "Stop."
Yeah, they will tell you that. They will.
I go, "What?
Mm-hmm.
Stop taking so much vitamin D. You're gonna get sick. It's gonna poison your system." I'm like, really?
That's what
Like,
that's
oh,
and trust me,
I
he's
mean,
not telling you that to scare you. That's what he honestly believes because that's what they're taught in medical school. That's what they're
I'm
taught.
on cloud nine, floating around. I've got all this energy, and I'm doing all these things. And he said, "Stop." And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"What?"
Yeah,
And in the endocrinologist is who said that.
I
And I'm
believe
like,
it.
really? Oh, so I just for 90 days,
Mm-hmm.
I took no vitamin D, none.
What
And I
could
was
you have
just
done? What could you have done? Anybody can pop it. What could Carol have done if her doctor said, "Oh, you're going to get toxic taking that amount"? Does anybody know what she could have done instead of stopping?
the maintenance one.
Yeah, or you could say, well, test my vitamin D levels, doc.
Mhm.
See where I'm at. Since you're concerned about it, let's
Mhm.
test it and see where I'm at. Am I still deficient? Am I borderline? Where I'm at? Let's find out. That's what I would
Yeah, I
say.
have an appointment with him on the 30th, and that's a great idea. I will tell him this because I was like panicking and frantic and crazy, and well,
Hmm.
I'm crazy anyway,
But you
but I
felt
was more.
amazing, you said. But you
I
felt
did.
amazing. Yes. You
I
know, when
did.
I'm in pain, if I have a pain or anything, like my shoulder has been bothering me, I take vitamin D. Forget the Motrin and the rest of them. I just take extra vitamin D because vitamin D is a natural anti-inflammatory. So I just pump up the vitamin D. And of course, magnesium and all these other things are needed to ensure that your vitamin D is doing what it needs to do. We don't want to forget that piece. Okay.
Thank you.
Sharon, did I see your hand?
Yeah, you answered it. My question was, you know how they say, well, body weight versus how much they give you. So, like for
Mm-hmm.
instance, my husband, they thought he was having a heart attack, and he was at one. My husband was like 170, and the amount of the nitro that they gave him, he passed out. So, does supplement have the same in what our weight is and what we take? Um,
That's a really good question. That's a
yeah.
really good question. So with supplements, of course, it's going to be a very, very minimal dose compared to what he would get at a doctor's office. They
Okay.
got like the super potent, strong stuff.
Right.
So Full Scripts has pharmaceutical grade supplements. So their supplements are no joke, but on the bottle, that's why they tell you take two or take three or whatever. However, for some situations, like for mine, I took it into my own hands based off of my own personal research that I needed to take more.
Yeah.
My physician would have never okayed that because there's liability there.
Right.
There's liability there. So you have to really do your research and determine for yourself if it would be good. And plus, go off of how you feel. I felt amazing. Like Carol, I felt great. I noticed the difference when I got up in the morning. I really felt good. I saw a difference every month when my cycle came. So I knew that it was working.
So is that something that you will maintain? Because
Yes.
fibroids are gone. So
I still have one. So I
yeah.
had like five.
Okay.
And so I still have one. So I am determined to get rid of that one.
Yeah.
I'm still going to get rid of that one. So yes, I'm continuing with the dose that I've been taking.
All right.
Good question. Denise, and then I'll get Keisha.
So, so I wanted to know, and you mentioned it, and I've heard Dr. Berg talk about the quality of the supplements that you
Mm-hmm.
take and the third party verification. I know that supplements are not regulated
That's right.
by anyone. So, who are the third parties that's doing the review?
That's a great question. And there are several companies. Hold on one second. I
And
actually,
are they rated? Are the third party companies rated?
who's watching them, right? Kind of
Yeah,
like who's watching the IRS?
yeah, yeah.
That's a good question. And I may have to get back to you on the who's watching the third party companies because anybody can get paid off, right?
Yes.
Right? We all know that this is an imperfect and jacked up world. And
Yeah.
there is nothing that's untouchable, right?
Right.
So we have to definitely keep that in mind. So we
Yeah.
want to make sure we got our checks and balances in place, but also understanding that it's not going to be perfect. But some
Sure.
of the third-party verification organizations include, let's see, I have some of them here.
Does it say it on the bottle?
No, they usually won't say it on the bottom.
So
But
how do you verify?
the manufacturers may be able to tell you. You might have to go onto their site and read the super fine print, the super fine print that nobody wants to read. So there's a company called USP Pharmacopoeia. They're a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
There's one called NSF International, one called Consumer Lab, and then another one called Good Manufacturing Practices, GMP. So those are some of them. I don't know if there are any others. Those are the four that came up with my search. So yeah, who watching them? I got you. I hear
So
you.
so does School Script subscribe to one or all of those?
Sure. I'd have to find out. I'd have to
Okay.
find out. Let me write that down. I'm not sure if they subscribe to all of them or if just one. Let me
Okay.
write
Thank
that
you.
down. That's a good question.
Hopefully, you give us the answer before you go on vacation.
I will.
Leave us hanging.
That's
Leave us
another
hanging.
good question.
Leave us
That's
hanging.
another good question. Yes, I will give you that answer before I go vacation. Yes, I will. That was good. Good questions, ladies. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I want to get Taisha. Taisha, am I saying your name right? Is it Tisha or Taisha? Which one?
You're right. It's Taisha.
Taisha. Okay, baby, you
hmm
go ahead. And then Ruthie, I got you after her.
Okay, so it's back to the vitamin D. Kind of like me. I asked my doctor as far as the levels. So I take 10,000 units a day. That's because I am deficient. But like you said, if I'm like flared up and I need to take more, but one of my doctors told me, well, you don't want to take too much because then it'll be too much in your system. So I'm like, okay, so I just do it upon myself to go up if I need to, but is there really a limit on how much you need?
I'm sure there is a limit. I'm sure there is a limit, but you ain't nowhere near that limit. You might be talking like
Mm-hmm.
maybe 100,000 IUs or something like that. No, you're
Mm-hmm.
nowhere near the limit. And if they have already told you that you're deficient, baby, you need to pump
Mm-hmm.
up your vitamin D because 10,000 IUs is just maintenance. You need
Okay.
therapeutic. You need a
Yeah.
therapeutic dose, so you have to up your vitamin D.
Okay.
Yes, good question. Good question. So sometimes when we get advice from our physicians, y'all, please understand that they are giving you the best information that they have based off their education, but they are very busy people, and a lot of them don't go back and get reschooled on some of this information. Okay? Your doctor is not
Okay.
going to school every year to get updated on some of the new research, some of the new things that are coming out, and a lot of them don't even care about supplements.
Mm-hmm.
They want to
And
give you a drug because that's what's being pushed. That's where the money is. Nobody's going to make no money off vitamin D. So vitamin D will never be pushed as the answer. Okay, unless you're talking to somebody who's holistic, a holistic physician of some
mm-hmm.
sort. And you probably couldn't even afford to go see a holistic doctor. They are so expensive, very expensive when you're paying out of pocket for them. Okay, so
And
good
another thing,
question.
oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was
go
just gonna
ahead.
say another thing that I appreciate you saying is because when they told me just go and get vitamin D, they never said anything about the K2. So I was taking vitamin D the whole time
Mm-hmm.
and my numbers would not go up. So
Look
all
at
they did was tell me to go up on vitamin D. But as soon as you mentioned the K2, and I think one other physician that I started seeing mention K2, that's when my levels went up.
Hit that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The proof is in the labs, y'all. The proof is in the labs. So yes, not you got your vitamin D and your K2 coupled together, your magnesium, okay? Make sure it's magnesium glucinate, okay? And you need to be taking some zinc too, okay? All right. Taisha, was that it for your questions?
Yes, that was it. Oh,
Excellent.
like okay, what do you recommend like for flare ups? Like how much would you think I should go up to?
Well, I'm not a doctor now. I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
doctor, but I'm going to put it like this. 10,000 is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
50,000 is a nice cushion area. I wouldn't go above that. Okay?
Okay.
Somewhere in between. I told
Okay.
you for me, I did
Yeah.
between 30 and 40. Like some days I do
Okay.
30,000, other days I do 40,000. I personally have never taken 50, but I ain't against it. I'm not
Okay.
against it at all because I've seen what vitamin D can do. I mean, y'all, I'm still like, are you sure? I kept asking the doctor, but you sure what this can Yes, vitamin D is the bomb. It's the bomb. All right. Let's go to Ruthie. Ruthie, what's your question?
My question is, okay, so you talk about vitamin D with K2, and I am on blood thinners and I've had blood clots, and we are told to stay away from vitamin K.
I've been hearing that about people with the blood thinner staying away from spinach and all kinds of things like that.
Kale, other things that have vitamin K.
Hmm.
So the doctor, I forgot his name already. He didn't mention
Hmm.
that, but so I talked to my doctor and she was like, then just don't take the vitamin K.
Hmm.
So is that something, will vitamin D still work?
I have to research for you, but vitamin D has to have that transporter K2. It has to. But with you not being able to take K vitamins, that's a problem for you. Yeah, it is. That one's a problem for you. And when you're talking about other medications, I definitely wouldn't go against what your doctor's saying because, blood thinners and stuff, that's serious medication. It's doing a serious job. But you got a problem there with the two clashing with each other. I gotta do some more research on that one with you, see what
Okay.
I can find. Okay, because I'm not sure about that.
And Fullscripts does vitamin D3 without K2, like it does it on
They
its
do.
own.
Hmm. They
Okay.
do. Yeah, they sure do. That was your only question?
My only question. Yeah.
Okay. See, y'all give me all this homework before I go on vacation. What kind of foolishness is this? These two questions here, I tell you, okay. I mean, I did ask for questions. All right. Anybody else? All right. So, everybody all meal prepped up for the week? Maybe, kind of, sort of. I just finished mine before I got on. I have a hot casserole sitting on the stove right now. Got I made some protein shakes. I bought some beef bone broth, y'all. I'm gonna go get it. I have got to show y'all this because I didn't know this exists. I'll be right back.
Can I show them that powder? Oh, where'd you go?
Sure, go ahead. I heard
Can I,
you.
can I
Yes,
show them that powder that I showed you?
yes.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Sharon, what have you found?
Oh my goodness. So Renee found it. So, anyways, it's a protein powder and it only has 5 ingredients. And you can get it at Whole Foods. And it is spelled, I'm going to put it in the chat so you guys can see it. Where's our chat? And so one of them has 5 ingredients and the other one has one. And it is okay, you just have to read it. But anyway, so when I showed it to Coach, she was like, oh, because the one she has suggested in the supplement, it's the
The pea protein.
pea protein.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at the ingredients of the pea protein, there was like 15. And so when I showed Coach this one, it had 5. Literally, I drank it after my exercise. Amazing. I'm not sore the next day. I'm not, my muscles are not aching. So
Now, Sharon, I thought we were friends. Why am I just
I
not
just
hearing
found
about this?
out. I just found this out and I had to pass it to Coach before I could tell y'all.
Yes.
I couldn't just put it out there.
Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. So speaking of pea protein, because I heard you say pea protein as I was putting my headset back on. I normally order my pea protein supplement, my protein shake from Fullscript.
Yeah.
But I am completely out. I don't have time to wait for it to be mailed, so I went to Whole Foods. Don't y'all know? I scanned and read every one, and I had my husband reading and scanning with the Bobby app. Y'all, it is amazing how this whole wall of protein shakes, they were all not Bobby approved. Okay. Except like 2 or 3 out of the 30 or 40 that they had. Okay. So this is the one that I got as far as for my protein shake. So literally, this is just pea protein. It don't have nothing in it. Nothing at all. So like no vanilla, no nothing. So I'll be adding, my own vanilla and cinnamon and all that good stuff too. But this one was Bobby approved, definitely Coach Tay approved. It's only organic pea protein, one ingredient. One. So that's good. But this is what I wanted to show you all. Look at that.
Oh, bone.
So
Wow.
I am always, always, always cooking bone broth. Sometimes I don't feel like
I
cooking.
told you when I went with the bona fide, I don't have time.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I
Excuse
don't
me. I said
feel
that
like
out loud. I'm
that's all
sorry.
right. It's okay because I'm with you. Sometimes I just don't feel like cooking the bone broth or waiting because I cook mine for 48 hours. Sometimes I don't
Mm,
feel like waiting. So
mm,
when I saw this, I said, okay, let me see if it's Coach Tay approved. As I read the ingredients, it's grass-fed beef bone broth, grass-fed bone broth protein for chickens, chicken bone broth oil, organic tomatoes, carrots, spinach, organic garlic, organic turmeric root, and organic thyme, black pepper, rosemary extract, rosemary leaf. That's it. Definitely Coach Tay approved. I scanned it with the Bobby app. It says it's under review. I know Bobby gonna approve this because it's so clean. And all you got to do is add 1 scoop to hot water and hello bone broth. Now, this is what I talk. This is called saving time. Now, let's talk about the money on this thing, though. We talk, y'all, it's expensive. I almost said, you know what? I'll just fix my bone broth. Never mind. It was $50. This thing was $50, but it's okay because this is a tight week for me as far as time is concerned. And this is going to last me for 2 weeks. So I'm good. But there are
so
definitely some fines out there, y'all. And there are ways that you can cheat. Bonafide is another one. I like Bonafide.
I
You
love
keep
it.
that in, you can find that in the refrigerated section of some stores.
Mm,
And I use that as an option too. I just wanted something different this time.
Hold it
that's
up
Carol,
one more time so I
Yeah,
can
who
get a
that,
makes
screenshot.
that one?
it's
Hold it
called
up one more time.
Ancient Nutrition.
Can you put it in the chat? Take a picture of it and put it in the chat.
I sure will. I will
Thank
do
you.
that. I will
Yes.
do that. I
but
will
now,
take a picture
Coach,
of this.
I heard you say there was spinach
Yeah.
in there, which I can't have, and
You can't
something
have
else.
spinach. Spinach. It's called Spinach Red Cave. What is that? Anybody ever
I
heard
don't
of that?
know. I don't know,
Spinach
but
Red Cave. I don't know what that is. I
no,
don't
I
know what
can't have
Spinach Red
spinach.
Cave.
And there's something else that I heard you
Garlic
all
rosemary. Rose, you can't have rosemary.
correct.
Yeah, so you stick to bona fide. Stick to bona fide.
Mhm.
Okay, so there are some finds out there that will make life easy. This is gonna make my life easy this week, and that's what I'm all about. I also got a new habit, y'all. I am sipping on apple cider vinegar, water, and lemon throughout the day to
Yeah.
help keep my blood sugar stable. Okay, so
Hmm.
throughout the day, and actually, it tastes kind of good. Like seriously, I was shocked. I'm like, wow, I'm
You know
actually
what
not
I
doing this.
found with the apple cider vinegar? I find if I put my water in the refrigerator
Yes, cold
and
water.
add the apple cider to it, it's like a drink, it's a refreshing drink as
There you
opposed to room
go.
temperature water.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go. This is ice cold. And I was scared to add the lemon. Dr. Berg gave me the idea to add the lemon. I'm like, I don't know about adding that lemon. That's acidic on top of acidic. It's good. I love it. I love it. I've been drinking this for the last week, just walking around with my little apple cider vinegar. See, and my granddaughter, she loved grabbing my drinks. I bet you she won't grab this one. Her little face will draw up. Anyway, ladies, it was great. It was so wonderful having y'all here. I got my homework. I'm going to put this in the group chat. I will get back to you all with the answers to the questions that you had that I need to do some research on. In the meantime, y'all keep the chat going, keep it rolling, and make sure that you get your meals and stuff ready for the week so that you're prepared and that you're ready. You never know. This might be a crazy week. You want to be ready for it by having your food prepared, having your game plan. Don't let that stumble you. Okay, be ready. All right. And ladies, I love y'all. Y'all are so great. Y'all are
May I
encouraging to
say,
me too. Okay.
may I say
So
one thing? One
yes,
thing.
yes.
Sharon, that quinoa salad that you posted, you know, you were so wrong for that.
Did I
I'm just
miss
gonna
that?
say that.
No, I did not miss that keep. I saw that.
Did
I
you
sure
see that
did.
salad? Oh my
Yep,
goodness.
sure did.
I'm just
I
right
sure
down the
did.
road. You know, I can come pick up. You know, just thought I'd say that.
Just thought I'd say that, huh? Right in Austin,
Just put it out there.
Texas. Oh man.
No. Yeah.
So y'all enjoy the rest of the day. I will also be posting the video by probably by tomorrow of this session, okay?
All right.
Have a good night, ladies.
All right. Good
I'll
night.
talk to y'all during the week, okay?
Okay.
And
Bye.
Coach,
Bye.
congratulations on your success.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
It's obvious you're elated, and you should
I
be.
wish I would have known that 9 years ago, because
Oh,
I
I
had
know.
I
That's
had
why
10 fibroids and they took my uterus. So
that's why I'm putting this information
here.
out there, because there's a lot of women that's going to benefit from this.
yes,
A lot.
Yeah.
So y'all pass the word, vitamin D.
I am. All right.
All right.
What's the
good
name
night.
of that iron that you said you take? What is
Oh,
the name of
beef liver pills. I take
Beef
beef
liver.
I
liver
know,
pills.
but you said it was a certain kind of iron that you don't take.
Oh, I don't take iron that's artificial,
Yeah.
that fake stuff that you remember the little red pills
Right.
they used to give us back in the day?
Mhm.
Yeah. But didn't you
Mm-mm.
say something like heme or something?
Heme, yes. So there's heme and there's non-heme iron. Okay.
heme.
Non-heme, H-E-M, non-heme is iron from like spinach and plants. Still good iron, but heme iron from animal sources is more potent and your
Okay.
body sucks it up. But I don't like liver. Okay. So that's why I opt for the pills. And it did what I needed it to do.
I got it. I
Yeah.
couldn't hear that part. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. All right,
Bye, you guys.
ladies. Good night,
All
y'all.
right. Good
Bye.
night.